The Arab thinker Ali Muhammad al-Shurafa says, "The theory of the state according to divine legislation in the glorious Qur'an is based on the principle, if the individual is reformed, society will also be reformed. This means that God's wisdom necessitated starting with the upbringing of individuals by teaching them to apply the divine methodology, which establishes within them the values of Quranic ethics and the attributes of believers as mentioned in the Holy Qur'an. These teachings aim to correct individual behaviors to align with noble morals, as God described his messenger, peace and blessings be upon him.
وَإِنَّكَ لَعَلَى خُلُقٍ عَظِيمٍ.
God also described the Prophet with mercy, saying,
وَمَا أَرْسَلْنَاكَ إِلَّا رَحْمَةً لِلْعَالَمِينَ.
If leaders succeed in implementing the divine methodology for human ethics in interactions and social relationships, and if every individual adheres to the principles of this methodology in their behavior and practices, in education, work, family responsibilities, and all areas of life, society will thrive. Such adherence manifests in compassion, justice, kindness, equality, respect for human rights, tolerance, forgiveness for unintentional mistakes, and treating everyone with goodness. It also involves cooperation in righteousness and piety, avoiding sin and aggression, refraining from all forms of injustice, fulfilling responsibilities with sincerity and honesty, avoiding negative assumptions, and ensuring that everyone receives their due rights. These Quranic values and the attributes of believers unify people as one, holding firmly to the clear book of God. If societies succeed in reshaping the personality and behavior of Muslims according to the divine methodology, they could become the greatest and most advanced nations, leading humanity to build the ideal virtuous city. From individuals raised and trained on this divine methodology, communities, peoples, and states are formed. When leaders embody these attributes, Islamic societies rise to the ranks of the most advanced and developed, achieving mercy, justice, and stability. People live as loving and cooperative brothers and sisters, belonging to a cohesive society that supports one another. Islamic states adopt constitutions based on Quranic values, without warring factions or conflicting parties, as everyone works within the framework of Quranic ethics. In this framework, ethics take precedence even over acts of worship, as God made worship a means to achieving good morals. Thus, individuals in society follow a unified constitution based on the Qur'an in their dealings. Attempts to establish governance systems since the Prophet's death, peace and blessings be upon him, have failed because his successors did not comprehend the wisdom of acts of worship or believe in divine legislation. This includes the legislation of worship and its wisdom, the prohibition of actions to protect Muslims from sin, the application of divine commands, and adherence to the divine methodology in behavior. Consequently, they failed to establish societies rooted in divine legislation, a failure that persists to this day. The enemies of Islam deceived Muslims with fabricated narrations attributed to the Prophet, causing them to abandon the divine constitution. Lost among conflicting narrations, they divided into sects and parties, fighting one another over worldly interests and struggles for power. They forgot God, and He made them forget themselves. They strayed from the straight path, and as a result, nations overpowered them, occupied their lands, looted their wealth, violated their sovereignty, and displaced many of their people, leaving them to wander in search of refuge. All of this occurred because they turned away from the roadmap of guidance that God had drawn for them, a roadmap promising security, stability, dignity, and peace. Sadly, early Muslims failed to establish a governance system based on values of mercy, justice, freedom, and respect for human rights, as God commanded. After embracing Islam, they were instructed to follow His book.
اتبعوا ما أنزل إليكم من ربكم ولا تتبعوا من دونه أولياء.
Yet they disobeyed God, followed the enemies of truth, and extinguished the light that would have illuminated their path to a good, secure, stable, and just life. To this day, they remain immersed in darkness, drowning in crises and challenges due to their abandonment of God's book. Had they adhered to God's laws and methodology, they would have emerged from darkness into light. The individual is the foundational unit of society. When individuals are raised according to the divine ethical methodology and noble values, society can establish a community of mercy and justice. From such individuals arise leaders dedicated to serving their nations without arrogance or pride. Everyone contributes to shaping the future through consultation and transparency, aiming to build a homeland that ensures solidarity among all citizens and serves the common good. Leaders committed to human, economic, and social development act with greater integrity, responsibility, and openness, allowing honest discussions about society's aspirations for freedom, justice, and equality. All participants in policymaking feel accountable before God, first and foremost, before being accountable to any leader. For example, if a farmer selects the best seeds, protects them from pests, and provides proper fertilizers, the resulting crops will be of the highest quality, yielding abundant and excellent harvests. Similarly, nurturing individuals within society produces positive outcomes, fulfilling development plans and improving living standards in an atmosphere of tranquility, stability, progress, and prosperity. Future generations inherit a stable society built on solid foundations, free from debt burdens, and prepared for sustainable development that safeguards their rights. God calls everyone to cooperate in righteousness and piety. When this cooperation is neglected, disasters and crises arise, societal systems collapse, and states are exposed to corruption, tyranny, and oppression. History has witnessed the disappearance of many nations due to such reasons. Nations that vanished from the map, leaving only remnants behind.